Let's see if this is familiar. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I mean, years, right? Hundreds of years ago that was written. Hundreds of years ago. We and everybody else on this beautiful planet belong to one human family. And every person on this planet is a card-carrying member of the family of humanity. Every person here is a magnificent being with a unique soul and a purpose for being here. And so together as citizens, as co-stewards of this country, of this planet rather, we have a common purpose. And that purpose is to carry forward an advancing spiritual civilization. To recognize the oneness, to be that oneness. We are each and all entitled to enjoy the benefits of a harmonious, loving, beautiful life. And we know that if one member of our civilization is in anguish or is in distress, that we all feel that all members feel that suffering and that distress. It is the concept of Indra's net that we use, right? When one jewel is shaken, is moved in any direction, we all feel it. We all have that connection. An awareness of our common heritage and our interdependent future is what redefines our understanding of ourselves and of one another. So we are called to challenge and, God willing, change the way in which some of the world views our lack of connection. I honestly believe we have that responsibility as beings of light, as beings of understanding that whole concept. We have, and this is a big call, we have the capacity to be unconditional love for all of humanity. Each and every single being in this room has that opportunity. We are, after all, from the same source, made of the same stuff, maybe simply experiencing life a little differently. Mathew Fox wrote this in One River, Many Wells. Divinity is an underground river that no one can stop, no one can dam up. There is one underground river. There are, however, many wells to that river. An African well, a Taoist well, a Buddhist well, a Jewish well, a Muslim well, a goddess well, a Christian well, and aboriginal wells. Many wells, one river. To go down a well is to practice a tradition. We could make a grave mistake, however, if we confuse the well itself with the flowing waters of the underground river. All one source, coming from the same place. So the oneness that I'm talking about this morning isn't at all implying any kind of uniformity. That isn't what this is about. The human family is like a garden of diverse flowers. We vary in shape, we vary in size and color, yet we're all being nurtured, right, by the same source. Humanity absolutely can overcome the differences that appear to divide us. And we do that through the support of the divine, by focusing on that which we have in common, by understanding our fellow human beings, not by placing judgment on those who see life differently than we do. It's more than simply tolerating the differences. It's appreciating the diversity of our human family. That's what it's about. So acceptance of that oneness of humanity requires that prejudice, be it racial, religious, gender-related, be totally eliminated. There is no cultural, ethnic, gender-based, or religious group that is superior to any other. We all receive God's love in equal measure. Every person on this planet does have the capacity to contribute to the betterment of this world. No question about that. Now, I think we can all agree that hate begets hate, that violence begets violence, and that love begets love. That's exactly why we're called to send love to those who hate, to those who commit acts of violence. Because if we send more hate, if we send more violence, it just feeds it. And we aren't called to do that. We are called to reach out and create relationships with people from all walks of life, because that decreases our misconceptions and our prejudices. And maybe, just maybe, what we've heard or what we've come to believe throughout our life isn't true for every single person in said group. Insert anyone you want there. That's the thinking that gets us in trouble, that particular thinking about assuming something about a group of people, or thinking that one is superior to another. That's the key contributor to the present condition. I hate to say that because it hurts. Our world, however, is in a little bit of turmoil right now. Prejudice is simply a false perception or a preconception of others based on ignorance. And what happens is then it blinds us to the fact that every person on this planet, and I do mean every single one, is a spiritual being, just like you and I, having that human experience. A spiritual being with unique talents, with unique capabilities, and a purpose for being here on this planet at this time. And in a lot of instances, that's a little difficult to swallow, isn't it? And I think that is perfectly normal. That doesn't mean we send hate. That still means we send that power of love. The idea of equality among everybody is the most important prerequisite for building a peaceful world. And I know without question that's what we all want, is that peaceful world. That prejudice perpetuates an injustice against innocent people. It promotes harmful attitudes and habits, and those get carried from family to work, to economic and political, and ultimately to nations, and states and nations. It perpetuates. There are absolutely no grounds, be they moral, practical, or biological, upon which the denial of equality can be justified. For instance, if racism is to be overcome, the idea of oneness must be universally upheld. And it's the friction between religions throughout history that have created those countless wars, countless conflicts. And that is a major barrier in creating peace on this planet and unity among all. I mean, we're living that right now. Once religious prejudice is eliminated, the human race can move forward, recognizing that oneness and living in that space toward a more understanding and a more loving existence. If leaders and followers of different religion ask themselves how differences between the various belief systems could be resolved, we would move forward a little faster. But I can't make them. I wish I could, because my idea, and it seems really simple and basic, and I believe that you're all there on that same page with me, is to simply allow others to believe how they want to believe. To let others be who they are without judgment, without having to justify who they are or apologize for their belief systems. Because the way to promote that oneness, that unity, is by way of tolerance, understanding, and respect. It seems like a simple idea. Now, I absolutely do believe the idea of universal peace is the goal of the majority of people. And I believe that because you see and hear about more people searching for an independent truth, for their own truth, recognizing the oneness of the entire human race, and by a very slow process, eliminating a lot of the prejudice that has been held over the years. It is happening, little by little, quite slowly. However, it's happening. Our well-being, our peace, is dependent upon establishing that unity among nations, among people. And you and I, have a hand in how that is going to play out. Because we are called to hold that unity, that peace in our heart, in our soul, no matter what it looks like out there. Didn't say it was going to be an easy way, but there it is. We want to hold those thoughts in our heart for every race, every culture, every religion, every gender-based group, and any other group that you can think of, that you can come up with. It makes a difference. As you think and as you practice that, and practice you must, because this takes action also, it becomes contagious and others feel it. Then others start to experience it. Then others start to act on it. And they tell 2 friends, and so on and so on and so on, right? And you'll be amazed at how quickly those ideas can spread. Sharing ideas with a kind heart can have a profound effect on others and also on you. So concentrate your thoughts on love, on unity. Focus on the good qualities in people. Learn to forgive each other's shortcomings, because guess what, guys? We all have them. Even me. Hard to believe. I know, huh? All of it, though, does begin with you and accepting yourself for exactly who you are. Self-acceptance frees us to live in our own light. And that's huge. It allows us the freedom of choice based on what we want, based on what we believe, what we think is good and right and lovely. Self-acceptance frees our soul. It opens us up to being able to love ourselves. And that way we can go out and extend that love to others. We have the God-given freedom to be who we are. I think that's huge when we really look at that. And so experiencing that freedom is knowing what or who God is for you and how that fits in your life. Knowing who you are, knowing that you can connect to your source, that you can move through life with grace, understanding that God is in charge and that all is well. It doesn't always feel that way. However, we can hold that thought and know that that's the truth. We are free to live the life that we want to live. Loving, sharing, growing, learning, thriving beyond our dreams. Everyone on this planet deserves that same right, that same freedom. We humans have the ability to resolve conflicts through wisdom and through joy. Those abilities that we have, those are innate. That's part of our package that we came here on this planet with. Wise people are happy people, and happy people are wise. And if enough of us become happy and wise, violence would be used far less often to solve conflicts. So the real path to world peace can't be found in passing of more laws or in creating more wars. We've seen that doesn't work. It is, however, found in the actions and beliefs individual human beings hold in their heart. And how do we do that? By becoming the change that we want to see, as Gandhi famously said. We need to be that first. We need to create that island of peace in our life. It will catch on. It can't help it. World peace exists in the actions each one of us takes in our own lives. And that's why it's so important to be that. When people come to deeply believe in ideas that promote peace, peace will follow. It has to. I came across an article while I was kind of researching for this week's talk, and it was really interesting to me. I didn't know this. Franklin Roosevelt, in January of 1941, did a State of the Union address to Congress. And it was all about 4 freedoms that he said were essential. And this is what he wrote in his speech. We look forward to a world founded upon 4 essential human freedoms. The first is freedom of speech and expression, everywhere in the world. The second is freedom of every person to worship God in his own way, everywhere in the world. The third is freedom from want, everywhere in the world. The fourth is freedom from fear, everywhere in the world. And what I thought was really interesting is they said that everywhere in the world, that he added that by hand after they printed up his speech, because that was really important to him. These freedoms are how we can all live together in peace and cooperation. Because it pretty much encompasses everything, doesn't it? And when we, the people on this planet, have created an environment where people can enjoy those first 3 freedoms, then we'll have created a society that we can share in that 4th freedom, freedom from fear. And that's huge. This idea, Roosevelt said, was born out of his desire not just to end World War II. He said it was to end the beginning of all wars. Beautiful. What I really appreciated about what Roosevelt did here is he made it perfectly clear that those 4 freedoms were not just for the United States. He was real clear on that. And his staff had questioned him on that. And they said, well, Americans aren't going to be concerned with what's happening over there in Java. And Roosevelt's response was this: Americans had better care because we are all interconnected. Isn't that beautiful? We are all connected. We are all one. Let's be for peace. Let's be for freedom for all of humanity, for all nations. And as we do that, remember that world peace is not only possible, it's inevitable. And I think that's a beautiful thought. Thank you so much for being here while I shared this truth as I understand it.